I think the reason that most people's portraits fail isn't because they don't have the right gear, and it isn't because they don't have enough light. It's just a lot of the small habits and decision-making processes that go on that lead to portraits that could be a lot better than they actually are. So you guys send me quite a lot of your work to look at, but I see the same common mistakes cropping up time and time again. So I thought, well, why not make a video about it? So in this video, I'm going to cover 5 common mistakes that I see people making and how to fix them. So the first one is people shooting in nice light, but not good quality light. So nice light can be soft open shade. I like using soft open shade an awful lot too. But you need something to shape that light, because without shape, the light has no direction, and you can end up with pictures like this where, yes, you could say that the wall on the side is subtracting some light, but there really isn't enough going on in terms of direction actually hitting our subject. So we're left with this kind of muddy look that doesn't quite work, but we're not necessarily sure why. Well, that's because we're not getting anything that's funneling good quality light onto our subject. And the things that do this are often in built-up areas. The buildings around us act like natural blockers, blocking off all the light in different directions, but then potentially only allowing it through in certain areas. So what we want to look for when we're doing something like this is an area where, yes, we have buildings blocking off the light, but from our subject's perspective, there needs to be one area that they can see that has light in it. That could be from the front or it could be from the side, but there needs to be a light source, the same as you would have in the studio. So if you look at this picture here, this was actually taken like this under this overhang. Now what overhangs do is they create a blocking point for light. The only way that light can reach under this overhang is to come in from the front. So what you get is effectively a massive window area pumping this light in. So overhangs work really well for this. And as you can see, compared to the earlier picture, we've got lots of really good quality light hitting our subject, and this gives them this radiant glow. It lights up their skin because they're lit well with good quality light. You might think that there's tons of light hitting my subject here, but that's not really the case. It's just very good quality light. So in this situation on this overcast day, what I did was I used this grey paneling, which was really dark, this dark wooden panels on the side, and this created a really strong negative fill. That means this area isn't going to bounce much light back onto our subject. And whilst there was no dominant light source on this overcast and rainy day, I created that by subtracting light strongly with a very dark surface near my model. And that created shape on her face and brought this intensity back, because what I'm creating is like a contrast ratio, and that means that we feel as if we've got more light coming in from one side or one direction than another, because we're subtracting from one side using this negative fill. The next one is ignoring the impacts of the background. I'll give you quite an extreme example here to just make the point very obvious, but I often see people not paying enough attention to what is actually in the background. This was an engagement shoot that I did in Spain, and this is just a test shot, but it gives you an idea. There's too much going on in the background and it's distracting. You need to simplify what is happening in your pictures. You only need 1 or 2 supporting elements to let the people know where this picture was taken and what's going on. What you don't want is an overclustering of the picture. So you can see here in the picture that I actually gave the couple, I've repositioned myself in order to be in a good position. So I'm going to cut out the people that are there. In reality, there was loads of sunbeds on the right hand side as well, and probably about 100 people on the beach. But you can't see that in the photograph, and that's what we want to try to create. We're trying to create an image of how we want things to be. By doing this, I tell a clear story of this moment between the couple, and we get a really strong sense of atmosphere like this because we're cutting down all of that visual clutter and sticking to what actually matters. It's these two in this moment on the beach, just as the sun has gone over the horizon, with this warm, wonderful glow around them. And when they share this with people and they keep it as a memory for themselves, it feels romantic and it's everything they want it to be. What I see people do a lot is that they will just blur the background out completely, especially when they're using longer focal lengths. I think it's always good to give some context to the location, especially when you're not doing studio photography. If it's outdoors on location, try to show some of the location as well. Color choices working against you. Wow, this is a big one, and I will probably do a whole video on this at some point. It's probably one of the biggest mistakes I see other photographers making. You need to be really super careful of things like extremely saturated skies, extremely saturated grass areas. You do not want strong areas of really intense blue or green in a picture, because that competes with everything else that's in the picture. It's all very well having nice outfits for your subjects or whoever you're taking the pictures of and having nice matched backgrounds, but if you've got things that are screaming out high saturation, that is going to compete for attention very strongly in your image. The other thing as well is when you're doing a portrait shoot, give your subject an idea of what they should wear. It's much better to avoid strong patterns and really strong colors unless they are solid colors all the way through and certain colors that work. Certain blues, certain reds, these things can work, like darker greens that are solid can work, and they can be really striking. Like in the earlier pictures I showed you with the girl with the red coat on, that can work and become very powerful if you get it right. But if you want to take a safer option, go for neutral, not too saturated colors and try to avoid strong textures and print patterns, because you don't know what the color palette is going to be often in the areas that you're going to shoot in. It's easier to match and make things work if you don't have strong colors and patterns. If you find this kind of information useful, I've got a free ebook about outdoor portrait photography, and it goes through more of these setups with some examples as well. It's free, download it, links are in the description down below. Point 4 is actually a really simple one, and it's people not reacting to changes in light. I don't so much mean they're not changing their exposure in their camera. I think a lot of people are shooting in aperture priority with auto ISO anyway, which is absolutely fine to do. If that's what you want to do, go for it. I do that a lot as well myself. But it's about reacting to the changes in light, how it changes the lighting on your subjects. Here's a picture of the before, and I'm waiting for the sun to just poke through. And as soon as it does, it changes the way the picture looks massively. Now, this could happen in the opposite direction as well. I knew that the sun was going to hit at this point because I know this location really well. But the point is, that could have gone in the other direction as well. The light could have stopped. And then if I just carry on shooting and I'm not reacting to it and not thinking, can we chase the light and move to a different location where we can get better lighting again, then I'm taking pictures that are probably just going to end up in the bin. If I don't use them, then there's no point really taking them. When we're shooting outdoors, the lighting is changing all the time, and you get new things creating reflections, you get new things, buildings or whatever, trees blocking light out where there was light before. And the way this expresses itself is that the lighting in one area will work for a period of time, often a short period of time, and then it will stop working because the light has changed. And you need to be aware of that moment that everything's changed. And that's the point where you want to say, right, let's go and look for something else. But lighting is always my absolute #1 priority, because when the lighting's good, it's usually easy to find a good composition within that area. And my 5th point is about the height at which photographers take pictures. If you are tall and you're looking down on your subjects, like in this picture, that's going to have a really big different effect than if you're short and you take a picture like this one. You can see from this lower angle, the subject looks more commanding. She looks like she's more dominant. You compare that to this picture where I'm standing at my full height and looking down towards my subject. It makes her look a lot more vulnerable. Now, this could work in certain circumstances. It can help when you've got larger subjects because it can help to slim them to some degree as well. But the point is, if I didn't want to create this look of her looking more vulnerable like this, and I took all of her pictures at my natural head height, all of her pictures are going to have this effect in them. When I come down to a more eye level position like this, where I'm coming down more to her eye level, then things look more natural again. And this is a kind of like happy medium point, is to get your camera that bit lower. But you need to know this, because if you're doing this unintentionally and you're shorter and your subjects are mostly taller than you, you could be making them look more commanding and more powerful when that's not what you're trying to do. If you're not sure what to do, get close down to their eye height. That's the easiest one, like in this position. because that's going to give you the most neutral perspective of looking at your subject. But imagine if you don't know this, or you didn't know this before I mentioned this. This is what I see often happening in people's pictures, is that they've got these perspective issues, but they don't know they're doing it and they don't know why it's happening. There's all sorts of ways that you can use the ambient and natural light that's around you when you're outdoor taking pictures. So if you want to know more about how these were done, remember my free ebook on outdoor portrait photography is down in the description down below. And if you like the way my pictures are edited, my outdoor portrait editing masterclass shows you how I edit these pictures from start to finish. Every single step explained, what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. There are no secrets in editing, there's only the tools that are there, but if you understand how to use them well, and you can do it with intention, you can create the look that you want in your images. My workshop link is also in the description down below. Go and check it out. I think you'll find it really valuable. Look after yourselves, and I'll see you guys again in the next video. Take care, yeah? Bye-bye.